Am I supposed to tell my presenters? Do you know? No.
No.
I'm not supposed to?
You said presenters, is it plural?
Yes. What is that game that they ask me questions and I can only say yes and no?
What are their names, Ron?
How, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you grow up a Celtic fan? And I'm wondering if that's true, what it's like to be enshrined with Red Auerbach and Bill Russell, John Havlicek, people like that.
Well, I was a basketball fan and I liked the Celtics. I wouldn't say I was a diehard Celtic fan, but to have Tommy Heinsohn and JoJo White. JoJo and I worked on the staff of Kansas together. So he and I were together on that staff. And, when we were there, he was probably in his mid-40s and was still like ridiculously in shape and could still play. So he, it's kind of neat. And with Louis, the issue for Louis, he won't get up there. He's not going to say much, and he really needs to because he is such a fan favorite. In the history of this program, may never have been a better shooter. And as far as just unassuming, humble, deference to everybody else, I want him to enjoy this night because it's well deserved for him.
How many folks will you be taking with you up there?
Well, I'll have a lot of people there based on my UMass days and Memphis days and Pittsburgh friends and, friends from here in Kentucky are coming up. So there'll be a lot of people there. And it's different. When you're a player, yeah, your team matters. It matters. But none of that matters. You had to perform yourself, and then your team had to do well, and then you have an opportunity for this. As a coach, it's all based on everybody else. It's based on the kind of staff you have. How about this? It's based on the kind of jobs you have. You have guys that have been at the greatest jobs in the history of their whole career. And then you have other guys who have been at mid-major jobs, toiling, and some started at Division II. So the job you had matters, which depends on other people offering you those jobs. And then the players that you coached. So when you're coaching, there's just so many more people involved. You had to become an assistant coach, and someone had to give you a chance so that you could become a head coach, so that you could maybe get a job like this. So, it's just the journey is totally different, and it's more inclusive of more people than if you play.
Will you take your current team up there with you?
That would be the plan.
How much have you visited the hall as a fan, or when you were at UMass? How familiar are you?
Ellen and I, our first press conference when I was hired by UMass was at the Hall of Fame. That's where they did it. But it was at the old Hall of Fame. And, I've been back a lot. And the new Hall of Fame I've been into probably 4, 5, 6 times. So, it's surreal based on the fact that I've been there. Different people were inducted and was in awe of the whole setup, and then all of a sudden you turn around and it's happening to me. So
in the months that it's since the announcement, how have you had a chance to kind of reflect on the fact that you're going to be in there in the hall?
I haven't, but it's funny. All my friends and some Hall of Famers who are friends say you don't realize until you walk in there and you're on that stage, and then it hits you like, what just happened? I've had to, I've worked on a speech more than I've ever worked on any speech, ever. Not for the sake of the speech, for time. This isn't just my night. There are 10 other people other than myself. And so you don't want to, you know, so everything I'm doing is, every time I come in, is how short can we make this yet hit what we need to hit. And we've taken down a few trees trying to get this thing, believe me. Eric and Mets are laughing, but believe me, I've changed it 6,000 times to just keep shortening and shortening and shortening. I don't want to, let me put it this way, I don't want to be that guy.
What do you expect your emotions to be like Friday as this goes on?
You know, here's, a friend of mine called me today and said, I know how you are. You're worried about the logistics. You're worried about everybody else. You need to step back and enjoy this. Okay, that just was my call today. And right now, all I'm worried about are logistics and all the people. Do they have rooms? Are they all set? Did we call them about the reception? Have we? And I really have spent no time yet, but there's going to be a time. I mean, this. Come on now, if you're in this profession, whether you're coaching or playing, and the greatest thing about this Hall of Fame, it includes high school, it includes all genders, it includes all the world, FIBA, high school, everything, pro, college, and that's what makes this Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame different. And kind of neat.
Cal, when I met you in the 80s, if somebody would have told you you'd be going into the Hall of Fame one of these days, what would you have said?
Do you remember me when I was in Pittsburgh?
You dressed better than the coach, and you dressed really horrible.
You wore tennis shoes, so. But back then, you know, you were just, you were coaching, you were into what you were doing, you were day to day, you enjoyed it. To have an opportunity to be a college coach. I mean, I'll say it again, my grandparents came through Ellis Island and didn't speak English. My parents are high school graduates. You know, I came from a loving, caring home and hard workers, grinded, dreamed you can do better than this. That's where I came from. So to ever think, I would think, well, someday I'll be in the Hall of Fame. No. I was stunned last year when they said I was a finalist because I didn't know how to be eligible. What did you have to do to get it? I would not know. I never thought about it. Then I had to ask, what's a finalist? What does that mean? I didn't know what a finalist was.
So what kind of an adjustment is it? I remember at your introductory press conference here, the question was, you've kind of been that underdog fighting, you didn't have the pedigree and all that stuff, and now you're heading, you're the big dog.
I mean, look, when you're, I've been at great schools, and the only, Kansas is kind of like this, but Kentucky changed everything for me. All coaches wait on that call from one of those schools. And when I got the call, you look and now it becomes, okay, you're on the biggest of big stages now. How do you do now? You were always trying to build programs from scratch. Then you were trying to take programs and create relevance. You were trying to coach at places that never got their due, never got the respect they deserved, even though they were #1 in the country. They never did. And then you're here at Kentucky. Now all of a sudden it becomes, okay, can we be the gold standard? Can we be the school, the program, the athletic department that other places emulate? They try to do what we're doing. Could you do it in the classroom? Could you do it on the court? Could you do it in the community? That's a difference at a place like this. And I also come back to, you know, just historically, you look, you got to be on a path through one of these kind of schools. If you, for those to be thought of as one of those guys, which I don't see myself as one of those guys.
Why not?
I don't know.
Because you are one of those
Well,
guys.
my dad always told me growing up, he said, it's okay to feel phony. Just don't be phony. Well, I feel phony. Like what? I'm in the Hall of Fame. Come on. And so it's just, you know, I mean, first ballot, I didn't even know, like, that's a big deal. Like, someone had to tell me. I have not, other than going and saying, I love that this guy's in there, it's, you know, it's a way of thanking those guys for what they've done for this great game. It's the ultimate pat on the back or thank you for players, coaches, contributors, officials. Dick Pavetta's going in as an official. I think, I can't believe this, but I think they give out awards for media. Disgusting, but I think they do.
We get to clean up afterwards. Cal, what would you say to, you would probably call them the haters that say you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame that for various reasons that we all know?
What would those reasons be?
Well, the vacated Final Fours,
And I'm not worried about those people. I mean, those people are the people that have helped us to this point and get to where we are. I'm not worried about any of those people. They're going to have a tough weekend.
What do you hope your ascension to being, you know, from being the scrapper to being one of those guys, what do you hope that your story, maybe if there's a young coach watching what you've done, says to them?
The biggest part of this is you can really be focused on your player's success and still be fine, not hurt your career. You can be totally focused on how do I help them reach their dreams, let them drag programs instead of me trying to drag it. But you know, the crazy thing is that, you know, I get a lot of time to coach yet. Like normally this kind of stuff happens and you're done coaching. You're either you're retired or you're at the very last legs. And so that's, you know, it's not going to change who I am. It's not going to change how we do things or my approach to this, but you know, it's something that we'll deal with.
Cal, are your kids more excited about this right now than you are?
I would say, like a guy like Terrence Jones has called me 5 times to make sure what time is everything and what, you know. A lot of those guys are coming back, a lot of the Memphis and UMass. It's amazing, a big contingent of the UMass kids. And that, you know, that's, look, I'll say it again, when you coach, it's not what you've done, it's what one has been done for you, the opportunities to be at certain places, what a staff has done for you. And then thirdly, and the number one thing, well, it kind of, you couldn't really recruit the kids unless you had a job and your assistants help you do it, but it all falls back to how do they perform for you? What did they do as players, which leads you to this? So to see all those people, I mean, there's widows of some of my mentors that will be there. You know, people from my Pittsburgh days when I was in high school. You know, my high school coach and his wife, college coach and his wife. And, I mean, that for me, it's going to be more about us all getting together and saying, can you believe this? And that it's not something, we all did this. This happened because we all did it.
I meant your kids personally.
My own children?
Yeah, your kids.
Do I have, we never talk about my own children. Yeah, they're excited. They're excited. You know, I got a daughter. If you want to get in a fight with her, say something about me publicly, then you'll have your own fist fight right there. She'll do it publicly, Twitter, tweet, Facebook, whatever you like. My middle daughter is a little bit the same. she's not as bad as Aaron. And Brad, he just, you know, he's just here for the ride. He's having a ball. So.
Couple more guys. You talked
John,
about
when you were hired, you admitted that you wondered if you'd ever get the call from Kentucky. If this hadn't happened, would you have found yourself wondering, am I ever going to get the call from Hall of Fame? Given your success here.
I don't know. I don't know that. And it's a good question. You'd have to go back and look at who's gotten in and where they coached. But I will tell you that there are some unbelievable coaches at every level, Division II, Division III, lower level Division I, that have done things and have impacted the lives of others and have had the same path, except the last call they never really got. And I tell you, I've been blessed my whole career. I mean, I had opportunities to leave Memphis to go to other jobs that maybe if I had taken, this would have never been an opportunity for me. So, you know, I've been kind of, you know, I bumped into fate once or twice, chased it pretty hard, but I bumped into it. And, you know, like I said, I've been blessed. This stuff is, you know, I'm just like the face of all of this around me, of what's happened. And here's an issue. You got 8 to 10 minutes. That's what you got to speak, 8 to 10 minutes. So you thank the hall, those people that, you know, congratulate the other inductees. And you got some presenters and you have to, can you just say their name or do you say something? Oh, you got to say something. Then you got to talk about your wife, unless you don't want to be married. Then you got to talk about your children, because they're there. My sisters are there. Do you not mention them and their husbands? Well, my in-laws. If you want to stay married, you have to mention that they're there. And then your high school coach, your college coach, you know. You're at 6 minutes, man. I mean, who do you, now you start trying to thank everybody, what happens? And the music starts playing and you get the hook and you're leaving people out. I mean, I'm telling you, the hardest thing I've had to do is put together this speech. It has been torture to try to say, okay, what's important and what's not? How do we do this? Who do I thank? Whose name? If I name this, what do I not? I mean, this is like, the good news is it's taken my mind off of everything else to just how do I make sure that I touch the people I need to touch, and then how do I do it?
Do you actually read it out loud in time?
What?
You read it out loud?
What?
Yeah, you can answer that one.
And then when I change, I tear stuff up and the next tree goes down. And I do, yes, I've done it 50 times to try to get this thing within a time frame that, you know, that's...
So, John, you mentioned this coming relatively early in your career. What's still out there for you after this one goes?
Oh, there's, you know, the biggest thing, it's not what's out there for me. Just coaching, to be able to coach, and coach at a place like this is honor enough for me. The question becomes, can we continue to do what we're doing for these kids? 14 graduated in 6 years. 3 of those graduated in 3 years. The things they've done in the community and all the other things, how they've connected on a level with no other program with the state the way they've done this. Then you say, okay, you know, in the next 5, 6, 7 years, how many guys can we really get in the league? And then how much money can all those players earn? How many lives can be totally changed, families' lives? The honor is just coaching you. The question is, what can we do for these kids? And then, if we continue to do that on a high level for them, we'll, you know where they're dragged us. We're doing things that no program or only 1 or so programs have done in the history of our game. Now, what if we keep doing it for 5 or 6 years? What if that? There's no guarantee. But that's, you know, the plan is how do we, and really, how do we take this to another level? what is the next level of what we're doing?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.